Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior and welcome to another Mortal Kombat video. Wow, I haven't done one of these in quite some time now, so I do apologize for the very long wait. Outside of all the Soul Calibur news, I've had my hands quite full. But in saying that, I decided to give myself a kick up the arse and give you guys a video that you all do deserve. Why Su Hao's the best character in Mortal Kombat. No, I'm obviously just messing with you. In today's video, it will be another installment in my What Went Wrong series, and today we're going to be talking about none other than the Dragon King himself, Onaga. Now I know to some this may be a rather controversial pick, however the original Mortal Kombat timeline is rather infamous for a number of underdeveloped characters, and Onaga seemingly comes under the radar when I think of one. So in today's video we're going to dive into his background and really talk about what went wrong with this character. Now in order for us to talk about Onaga, let's actually understand the character. Where did he come from? Well, Onaga is believed to have come originally from Outworld, seeing as he did become the ruler of the realm for a very long amount of time. Onaga himself is almost as old as the Elder Gods and has existed near the beginning of time. Because of this, he's seen time and ages pass by, and due to his dragon-like nature, he is rather ancient in that respect. But in saying that, with time comes knowledge, and Onaga himself became a formidable adversary. Studying in necromancy and becoming the ruler of Outworld, Onaga was a formidable force to go up against. As you see, he didn't just have brute force. His necromancy skills were uncanny, and he could bring anyone back from the dead. Now, although this may not be an interesting feat in the Mortal Kombat universe, unlike Quan Chi, who could only kind of bring people back as revenants, or somewhat husks of their former beings, Onaga could bring people back in their full-fledged forms and bodies, of course with their souls intact too. So Onaga in that respect was the greatest necromancer to actually exist in the Mortal Kombat universe. But despite this, he did die. Now, it wasn't by the hands of any enemy, but instead by someone he considered to be his protege, Shao Kahns. Shao Kahns knew he most likely couldn't defeat him in one-on-one combat, and thus poisoned him in his sleep. With the throne eventually falling into the hands of Shao Kahns, Onaga was left as a distant memory. However, despite his body being dead, his sentience would exist throughout the realms, and eventually he would come across one very young and very gullible Shao. Now from this point onwards, Onaga would set his plans in motion, with Shao Kahns at the beginning of Mortal Kombat Deception being dead, and many of Earthrealm's heroes being murdered. Outworld was ripe for the taking, so he would construct a plan where he would use Reptile as a conduit to bring himself back, whilst having Shao travel across the realms and getting him Kami Dogu, sacred artifacts that would do nothing by themselves, or when together they could merge the realms into one plane of existence, and thus the person who would do this would become the One Being, a deity that is far stronger than any Elder God. Now as expected, his plans would falter, but it's ultimately here in the story where the cracks do start to show. See, this entire time in Deception's conquest mode, you've had the opportunity to travel from realm to realm, explore them, and really get a gist for how the world works. It was new and fantastic. However, the ending of Mortal Kombat Deception's conquest mode is ultimately what's kind of disappointing about it. You see, as you arrive at what you believe is the third act of the game, where Onaga reveals himself to be Damashi the whole time, and he's been manipulating Shao his entire life, instead of one big massive final battle, the story just simply somewhat ends for him there. Now that's not so much a knock on the character, but just a rather disappointing aspect of Deception's conquest mode. Now you can follow through in the rest of his story, but it is more or less cut off into Mortal Kombat Deception's arcade mode, so you can't help but feel like it's a tiny bit of a cop-out here. Now nonetheless, at the end of Deception, Onaga is defeated because Shao is able to absorb all of the power of the Earthrealm heroes and more or less knock him out, in which Nightwolf then seals him to the Netherrealm, but in typical Mortal Kombat fashion, he is able to break away, and thus does return in Armageddon. Now after having a very brief talk about his backstory, what are the fundamental flaws that handicap Onaga? Some may say that he's handicapped because of the existence of Shao Kahns, because Shao Kahns is arguably the pinnacle of bad guys in this series, but I feel like you can look at Onaga in a different light. Although they were both rulers of Outworld, Shao Kahns is much more brash and has a cocky attitude. Although he is smart, he will allow his arrogance to get the better of him, whereas we clearly see here with Onaga, he's very smart and very tactical. Anyone who can formulate their own resurrection and rise to godhood does deserve some form of praise. But this is where things hurt him the most. Being the master of Shao Kahns naturally set rather high expectations for him to meet, one that I'd say he faltered in. Now that's not necessarily his fault, but more so his appearance in the timeline. Onaga doesn't appear in the Mortal Kombat series until very late in the original timeline, one installment away from where they would kill everyone and then reboot the universe. Unlike Shao Kahns, who had time to flourish, it felt like Onaga Onaga was a one and done deal as a big villain, as in Mortal Kombat Armageddon he would be replaced by another boss character, that being Blaze. I feel like if there was more time to flourish the character between his betrayal of Shigenko, who was defeated by Shigenko, then you'd arguably have a villain that's much more fleshed out than your typical cookie cutter bad guy, and that's something that I can't help but feel Onaga did suffer from. His design was fantastic. He had the opportunity to really make a mark on the series, and I personally can't help but feel that he did fall a little bit short. That and losing to arguably the most boring protagonist in the series, Onaga suffers from a lot of faults that would otherwise, if developed, would make him a very intriguing villain. So what went wrong with Onaga? He wasn't developed enough. I guarantee you an idea like this with enough time to flourish and shine could really be something special. We saw that in the Mortal Kombat X comic books where they reinvented Havoc. They made him the big bad in the comic book series, and not only did it do the character justice, but it also exceeded our own expectations. So I believe something like this could be applied to Onaga in a positive way if they gave him more face time, but most importantly incorporate him into the universe as soon as possible if you know your franchise hasn't got many years left in it. But yeah, that's kind of it for this video, guys. I do hope you enjoyed this topic and talk about Onaga. This has been on my mind for a while, and I do have to admit, I miss talking about Mortal Kombat. Now, what are your thoughts on Onaga? Did you like him in the original timeline? And how would you like to see him be reincorporated / reinvented in the rebooted one? Please do comment down below, as I'm interested to hear what everyone has to say. Once again, guys, thank you for supporting me with all the Mortal Kombat and Soul Calibur content. I super do appreciate it. We're gonna get back on making videos once again, and you can definitely expect more Mortal Kombat stuff in the future. Now, if possible, guys, before this video wraps up, let's try getting it to about 500 likes. It's a great way of supporting this channel since YouTube's ad system is broken as hell. Now, as always, guys, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.